The job interview takes place over lunch, and the employer says to the teenager, so I've noticed that your resume appears a little thin. Please share with me what you feel your value is in the world. Young man, young lady, your resume appears a little thin. So the teenager wipes his mouth, he takes a drink of water, beads falling down the glass as beads trace down his face, and composing himself with the thought of a cloudless, peaceful sky, he begins to unravel the spool of his life, the answer to all his questions, why? He says, well, I know my resume may appear a little thin, but I know how to live. Interviewer says, excuse me? Teenager says, I know how to live. I know how to scavenge birdseed from parks and stuff my pocket with bread crusts from trash bins. I said, I know how to live. I know what time at night is safest to pillage dog food from saucers and green backyards and cat food from gray tins. I know which spot under the bridge doesn't carry too much wind so I can wake in the morning not drenched or frozen. And I know that I, in this society, am not the chosen. I know I am not the chosen, but I know how to choose my friends. People can use a word like friend, like a Trojan horse, wanting you to let down your guard so they can get close to you and do the damage that a true friend would never do. Sir, I know how to choose my friends. I know how to recognize my father on the street in his tattered raincoat and his stench and stupor, and I know enough to love my father, even though we never played ball or went fishing or took walks or ate dinner at the table together. Never. I know enough to know my father's pain runs like maple in the cold of fall, and even though he has been consumed by it, my father is not his pain. It is his prison, but it is not him. He, my father, is a little lost boy walking the streets of his trauma, a monk who prays in confusion, meditates on madness, and fills his beggar's bowl with the strangest grain of rice. I know enough to recognize my father and still pray he finds his paradise. I know enough to recognize my mother when she comes to me in dreams. Sometimes she is a valley filled with trees of fruit, and sometimes a bright lagoon with tears of joy, water falling down. Sometimes she's just a clown, trying her best to cheer me up, even though a perfect life has stayed miles away from her. Still, she served me perfect meals of grace and the peace of knowing that she never tried to hurt me with knifing words or a hateful face. I know how to recognize my mother when she comes to me in dreams. And I know what to do when people look at me homeless and imagine nothingness. I just remember who I truly am and that I was born to walk this road and keep on walking until the stones turn into serenity and my feet no longer touch the ground, because I myself have become the light, true light, a force of will and nature who has figured out the purpose to his plight. I know when to catch the tears of a stranger when they're falling in a certain way down her weary face. I know grace. And I know how to express my life to you. Homeless, ocean foamless, I moan this poem, this aloneness, cactus plains, I roam this awesome ache, I own this. I fill my lake of soul with song and stone this water, rippling my ownness to shore to touch. My soul sound against the toneless. Lying on earth at night, I stare at my promised sky so domeless. I strike the flint of pain against my existence to start a fire so I can hone this, groan this bone I've known that others gnaw at like a rabid rat. This name by which I'm known, this stigma that claws me like caged up cat. This boiling vat pouring molten emotion into the air I breathe. The shame that floods me, my soul a sieve. The world that dogs me of my joy, the persistent daily thief. But I do exist, and so I grieve. I grieve. You best believe that when you leave, I return to what I believe. See, sometimes I feel like that motherless child, and sometimes I feel so fatherless child. Sometimes I turn to the void and ask, how come me here? Homeless, Sometimes I sing, I wish I never was born. And I sing, and as I sing, new life is born inside my mountain spring, my valley stream, and I realize that I was born with a fierce drum beat inside my chest, powerful enough to part the skies of my homeless. And as long as I locate my beat and remain, no matter how long the rain or deep the pain or absent the same from my life and grain, as long as I hold on to my sacred beat and determined to be true to I, then wherever I journey in this world, I am home and kiss the sky. I may come to have a home of wood and stone, but if I am not true to I, that touchable home may as well not exist. For if I am not true to this inner nest, then all around me is less than mist. But if I find I and honor I, that touchable home, then I am truly home. Home inside my truth, home inside any relationship, home in any place, on any road, in any moment, in every circumstance. One romance feeds all the rest. I must love I enough to move into the one home that can never crumble. I must sign the unbreakable lease written on the brilliant page of peace. I must reside in the one place made for I, whose windows are always filled with light and sky. What do I know? I know how to do what most others have never done, lie in darkness and stroke the sun. It takes a free fall through fate to learn to fly, and the choke of bitter nakedness to cherish the pristine taste of bliss. I do know this. What do I know? I know how to own this homeless roam, this momentary secondary space that looks to have no floor, this room that seems to have no door. I know how to create that floor and construct that freedom door and move from shadows into light and make this life my home. I know how to recite this poem I am, ignite this light I am, invite this flight I am, breathe peace, spread roots, grow stalks of love, cook meals of soul and sound, sleep deep in silence, wake fresh, bathe clean, open windows to the wonder of life and live inside this home I am. Thank you.